Your actions are inexcusable. I sentence you to 10 years in prison. Bail is denied.
What happens when a police chief's son thinks his daddy's badge makes him untouchable? What happens when that same entitled young man brutally assaults a 70-year-old Vietnam veteran in broad daylight, and then smirks about it? This arrogant 23-year-old walked into Judge Caprio's courtroom believing he was above the law. He believed his father's power would save him. He believed money and connections would make this whole thing disappear, but what happened next left everyone in that courtroom in tears, and it restored something this country desperately needs: faith in true justice. Before we continue, less than 5% of viewers are subscribed. If you believe in justice, if you believe in honoring our veterans, if you believe that nobody is above the law, hit that subscribe button right now. And stay until the end, because what Judge Caprio does will absolutely shock you. The defendant's name is Brandon Cole. He's 23 years old, tall, athletic build, the kind of young man who's never heard the word no in his entire privileged life. Brandon walks into the Providence Municipal Courtroom like he owns the place. His attitude hits you before anything else. He's wearing a $2,500 Tom Ford blazer. His Rolex catches the fluorescent lights. His Louis Vuitton loafers click against the marble floor with every arrogant step. But it's his face that tells the real story. He's smirking. Actually smirking. Like this whole thing is some kind of joke, some minor inconvenience in his busy schedule of doing absolutely nothing productive. He's scrolling through his phone as he walks toward the defendant's table. Doesn't even look up. Doesn't acknowledge the bailiff. Doesn't show an ounce of respect for the court. His lawyer, a $500 an hour defense attorney in a custom Italian suit, leans over and whispers something. Brandon just shrugs. "This'll be over in 10 minutes, Brandon mutters, loud enough for the first few rows to hear. "My dad runs this town. Drop a comment if you've ever met someone who thought the rules didn't apply to them. Now let me tell you about the victim." Harold Mitchell sits in the front row. He's 70 years old. His hands shake slightly, not from fear but from the lasting effects of Agent Orange exposure during his 3 tours in Vietnam. Harold is wearing his only good suit. It's old. The fabric is worn at the elbows, but it's pressed and clean. He took time this morning to look presentable, to show respect for the court. On his chest, pinned with precision, are his military medals: a bronze star, a Purple Heart. Decorations earned through blood and sacrifice in the jungles of Southeast Asia over 50 years ago. Harold's wife, Margaret, sits beside him. She's 68. Her gray hair is pulled back in a simple bun. Her eyes are red from crying. She holds her husband's weathered hand and hasn't let go since they sat down. Harold doesn't look angry. That's the thing that breaks your heart. He looks tired, confused, like he still can't understand why a young man would attack him for no reason at all. "I just don't understand," Harold had told reporters outside the courthouse. "I fought for this country. I watched my friends die. And now, this?" His voice cracked when he said it. "Like this video, if you believe our veterans deserve respect." At 77 years old, Judge Frank Caprio has seen thousands of cases walk through his courtroom. Drunk drivers, petty thieves, domestic disputes, traffic violations. But this case is different. Judge Caprio sits behind his elevated bench, studying the paperwork in front of him. His reading glasses rest on the bridge of his nose. His silver hair catches the light. He's known for his compassion, his humanity, his ability to see beyond the crime to the person underneath. But he's also known for something else: justice. And right now, as he looks up from the file and sees Brandon Cole still scrolling through his phone, something shifts in Judge Caprio's eyes. Something nobody in that courtroom has seen before. "McCole," Judge Caprio says, his voice calm but firm. "Please put your phone away." Brandon looks up, annoyed. He makes a show of slowly sliding the phone into his pocket, like he's doing the judge a favor. "We're here today regarding case number 24-7832, Judge Caprio continues. The charges are aggravated assault on a senior citizen, disorderly conduct, and resisting arrest. Mr. Cole, you've pleaded not guilty. Is that correct? That's right, Brandon says. Because I am not guilty. This whole thing is... Mr. Cole. Judge Caprio raises his hand. You'll have your chance to speak. First, I want to review the evidence. The monitors throughout the courtroom flicker to life. Security camera footage fills the screens. The timestamp reads March 15th, 2:47 p.m. The location is the parking lot of a Walmart in Cranston, Rhode Island. The footage is crystal clear. You can see Harold Mitchell walking toward his car. He's moving slowly, carefully. His military cap is on his head. He's carrying a single plastic bag with groceries. Then a black BMW 7 Series comes screaming into the parking lot. Way too fast. The tires squeal as it takes the corner. Harold stops. He looks at the car. He shakes his head, just a small shake, the way your grandfather might when he sees something he disapproves of. That's it. That's all he does. The BMW slams to a stop. The driver's door flies open. Brandon Cole steps out. What you're about to see will make your blood boil. Brandon marches up to Harold, gets right in his face. You can see his mouth moving, yelling, screaming at this 70-year-old veteran. Harold raises his hands. Not to fight, to show he means no harm. The universal sign of, I don't want trouble. It doesn't matter. Brandon shoves him, hard. Harold stumbles backward, tries to catch himself, can't. He falls. His grocery bag splits open. Cans roll across the asphalt. His military cap falls off and lands in a puddle. But Brandon isn't finished. The footage shows him standing over Harold, laughing, actually laughing at this elderly veteran on the ground. Next time, stay out of my way, old man. Brandon's voice is picked up by the security system. Then he kicks Harold's cap, kicks it like it's garbage. Margaret's sob echoes through the courtroom. Brandon drives away. Doesn't look back, doesn't check if Harold is okay, just drives away. The footage is clear. The assault is undeniable. The cruelty is incomprehensible. Subscribe if you want to see what happens when entitled criminals face real justice. Judge Caprio removes his glasses slowly. He sets them on the bench. His jaw is tight. His eyes never leave Brandon Cole. Mr. Cole, Judge Caprio says. His voice is different now. Harder. Would you like to explain what we just watched? Brandon's lawyer starts to stand. Your Honor, my client would like to... I asked Mr. Cole. Judge Caprio's tone leaves no room for argument. Brandon shifts in his seat. For the first time, he looks slightly uncomfortable, but only slightly. Look, Brandon says, this is way blown out of proportion. The old guy was giving me attitude, looking at me like I was some kind of criminal. I barely touched him. He fell on his own. Barely touched him, Judge Caprio repeats. Yeah, it was barely a shove. And honestly, he was in my way, walking like a turtle in the middle of the parking lot. Some of us have places to be. A gasp ripples through the courtroom. Harold closes his eyes. Margaret's tears fall silently. Mr. Cole, Judge Caprio says, do you know who that man is, the man you barely touched? Brandon shrugs. Some random old dude? That random old dude is Harold Mitchell. He served 3 tours in Vietnam. He was awarded the Bronze Star for saving the lives of 4 fellow soldiers while under heavy enemy fire. He received the Purple Heart after taking shrapnel to protect a wounded medic. Judge Caprio's voice rises. He spent 18 months in a VA hospital recovering from his injuries. He still has pieces of shrapnel in his back. He suffers from PTSD, from Agent Orange exposure, from nightmares that wake him every night. The courtroom is dead silent. That random old dude fought for your freedom, Mr. Cole. For your right to drive your expensive car and wear your expensive clothes and live your privileged life. And you knocked him to the ground because he looked at you wrong. Brandon's smirk falters, but his arrogance doesn't. Okay, fine. He's a veteran. That's sad or whatever, but this is still ridiculous. My father already tried to settle this privately. We offered them money, $50,000. They could have taken it and been done. Your father offered them money? Judge Caprio asks. Yeah, and they refused. So honestly, that's on them. This whole trial is on them. If they'd just taken the cash. Mr. Cole, Judge Caprio's voice cuts like a blade. I'm going to stop you right there. He stands up. In his 32 years on the bench, Judge Frank Caprio rarely stands during proceedings. When he does, everyone knows something significant is about to happen. Do you think justice can be bought? Judge Caprio asks. Do you think a check from Daddy's bank account can erase what you did? Can heal the bruises on that man's body? Can restore the dignity you stole from him? Brandon opens his mouth. Nothing comes out. You knocked a 70-year-old war hero to the ground. You laughed at him. You kicked his military cap into a puddle, and then you drove away. Without remorse, without conscience, without a single thought for anyone but yourself. Judge Caprio leans forward. And now you stand in my courtroom, telling me this is blown out of proportion? Drop a comment if you think Brandon Cole is about to learn the hardest lesson of his life. Brandon's lawyer stands. Your Honor, with all due respect, my client has no prior criminal record. He comes from a respected family. His father is... I know exactly who his father is, Judge Caprio says. The entire courtroom turns around. In the back row, sitting alone, is a man in a police uniform. His badge gleams. His face is pale. His hands are clasped so tightly his knuckles are white. Police Chief Thomas Cole, Brandon's father. He's been sitting there the entire time, watching, listening, hearing every word his son has said. Nobody noticed him when he came in. He entered quietly, sat in the back, kept his head down, like he was trying to disappear. But now everyone is looking at him. Chief Cole is 58 years old. He served on the force for 35 years, worked his way up from patrol officer to chief through dedication, integrity, and an unwavering commitment to justice. Or so everyone thought. Chief Cole, Judge Caprio says, I wasn't expecting to see you here. Chief Cole stands slowly. His legs seem unsteady. He clears his throat. Your Honor, he says, I came because I needed to see this. Brandon spins around. Dad, finally, tell him who we are. Tell him to make this go away. Chief Cole doesn't respond to his son. Instead, he takes a deep breath, and what he says next shocks everyone in that courtroom. Your Honor, Chief Cole says, I want to apologize to this court, to Mr. Mitchell, to everyone my son has hurt. Brandon's face goes white. Dad, what are you... I tried to make this go away, Chief Cole continues. His voice cracks. When I first heard what Brandon did, I tried to use my position to protect him. I called in favors. I tried to get witnesses to change their statements. I offered money to make this disappear. The courtroom erupts in murmurs. I'm ashamed, Chief Cole says. I'm ashamed of what my son did, but I'm more ashamed of what I tried to do. I spent 35 years swearing to uphold the law, and when it mattered most, I tried to break it. For him. He looks at Brandon, really looks at him, and there are tears in the police chief's eyes. I failed you, son. Not today. Years ago. I failed you by giving you everything, by protecting you from consequences, by teaching you that money and power matter more than character and integrity. Dad, stop! Brandon's voice is high, panicked. What are you doing? I'm doing what I should have done a long time ago. Chief Cole turns back to Judge Caprio. Your Honor, I'm not here to ask for leniency. I'm here to ask for justice. Real justice. Whatever punishment you see fit for my son, I support it fully. Share this with someone who needs to see what real accountability looks like. The silence in the courtroom is absolute. Brandon looks like he's been slapped. His lawyer is frozen. The spectators are holding their breath. Judge Caprio nods slowly. Thank you, Chief Cole. Please sit down. Chief Cole returns to his seat. He doesn't look at his son again, and Judge Caprio returns his attention to Brandon. Well, Mr. Cole, Judge Caprio says, it seems your father isn't coming to save you, not this time. Brandon's smirk is completely gone now. In its place is fear. Real fear. Maybe for the first time in his life. So let's talk about consequences. Judge Caprio puts his glasses back on. He picks up a document and studies it for a long moment. The courtroom waits. Mr. Cole, Judge Caprio begins. I've presided over thousands of cases in my 32 years on this bench. I've seen the best of humanity. I've seen the worst, and I've learned something important. He sets the document down. Justice isn't about punishment for punishment's sake. It's about transformation. It's about taking a broken moment and turning it into an opportunity for growth, for redemption, for becoming the person you were always meant to be. Brandon's lawyer leans forward, hopeful. But transformation, Judge Caprio continues, requires consequences, real consequences, consequences that matter. That hope fades. Brandon Cole, I hereby sentence you to the following. The courtroom holds its breath. First, 90 days in county jail. Brandon's legs buckle. His lawyer catches him. Second, 2 years of probation following your release. Brandon shakes his head. No, this can't. Third, 1,000 hours of community service. And not picking up trash on the highway, Mr. Cole. Every single one of those hours will be served at the Providence Veterans Center. You'll work with veterans, listen to their stories, learn about their sacrifices, learn about the men and women who fought so you could live your comfortable life. Brandon is pale now, shaking. But I'm not finished. What happens next will make you believe in justice again. Fourth, you will complete a certified anger management program. You will attend weekly therapy sessions, and you will write a formal, public apology to Mr. Harold Mitchell. This apology will be read aloud at the Veterans Center in front of the men and women who serve this country. Brandon's eyes are wet. Whether from fear or shame, it's impossible to tell. Fifth, you will pay full restitution to Mr. Mitchell for all medical expenses, emotional damages, and any other costs related to your assault. And this money, Mr. Cole, will not come from your father's bank account. It will come from your own earnings, from honest work. I don't care if it takes you 5 years or 10 years. You will earn this money yourself. Judge Caprio pauses, lets the weight of his words settle. And finally, Mr. Cole, your driver's license is suspended for 1 year. If you want to go somewhere, you can walk, or take the bus, or ask for a ride, just like Mr. Mitchell does every day, because he can no longer drive due to injuries he sustained defending this country. Brandon is crying now, actually crying. Do you understand these terms? Judge Caprio asks. Brandon nods. He can't speak. I need a verbal response, Mr. Cole. Yes, Brandon chokes out. Yes, I understand. Judge Caprio nods. Then he turns to Harold Mitchell. Mr. Mitchell, he says, his voice softening. Would you like to say anything? Harold stands slowly. Margaret helps him up. He faces the court, and when he speaks, his voice is steady. Your Honor, Harold says, I served in Vietnam because I believed in this country. I believed that when the time came, America would stand up for what's right. Today, you proved me right. He turns to Brandon. I don't hate you, son. I don't even know you, but I hope that when this is over, you'll be a better man. That's all I want. That's all I've ever wanted. Margaret wipes her eyes. Half the courtroom is crying. Judge Caprio removes his glasses again. He holds them in his hand, looking at both men. Mr. Mitchell, he says, on behalf of this court and this community, I want to thank you for your service, for your sacrifice, and for your grace here today. You've shown more dignity than most people could imagine. He turns to Brandon one last time. Mr. Cole, I want you to look at that man. Really look at him. That's what character looks like. That's what integrity looks like. And if you're lucky, if you work hard enough, if you're humble enough, if you're brave enough, maybe one day you'll understand what it means to be like him. The gavel comes down. Court is adjourned. 6 months later. The Providence Veterans Center is quiet on a Tuesday afternoon. The smell of coffee drifts through the common room. Old photographs line the walls. Young men in uniform, frozen in moments of youth and bravery. Brandon Cole walks through the front door. But he's different now. Gone are the designer clothes. Gone is the Rolex. Gone is the arrogant smirk. He's wearing jeans and a simple polo shirt. His hair is shorter. His face is thinner. His eyes carry something they never carried before. Humility. "Brandon!" a voice calls out from across the room. Harold Mitchell waves from a table near the window. He's playing cards with 3 other veterans. Margaret sits beside him, knitting. Brandon walks over. He doesn't strut. He walks. "Sorry I'm late," Brandon says. "Bus was running behind." "No problem, son," Harold says. "Sit down. I'll deal you in next round." Brandon takes a seat. If you had told anyone in that courtroom 6 months ago that these 2 men would become friends, nobody would have believed you. But life has a way of surprising us. Brandon completed his 90 days in county jail. It wasn't easy. Those were the hardest 3 months of his life. But they changed him. He started his community service at the Veterans Center expecting to hate it, expecting to count the hours until he was done. But something happened. He listened to their stories. He heard about jungles and firefights and friends who didn't come home. He learned about sacrifice, about duty, about what it really means to serve something bigger than yourself. And somewhere along the way, he stopped counting the hours. Harold was the first veteran to reach out to him. Not to lecture, not to shame. Just to talk, to share a cup of coffee, to tell stories about the war and about life and about what really matters. "Why?" Brandon had asked one day. "After what I did to you, why are you nice to me?" Harold had smiled. That gentle, weathered smile that had seen too much and forgiven even more. "Because hate is heavy, son, and I'm too old to carry it anymore. Besides, I've seen worse men find their way. If there's even a chance you can be better, isn't that worth trying for?" Brandon had cried that day. Really cried. For the first time since he could remember. Drop a comment if you believe in second chances. Today, Brandon sits at that card table, laughing with men 3 times his age. Men who have every reason to reject him. But they don't. Because they've seen his transformation. They've watched him change. Brandon has a job now. Not some executive position handed to him by his father's connections. A real job. He works at an auto repair shop across town. His hands are calloused. His clothes are often stained with grease. And he's never been happier. Every paycheck, he sets aside money for Harold's restitution. He's paid off almost half of it now. Every cent earned through his own sweat. His father visits sometimes. They're rebuilding their relationship. It's not easy. There's a lot of pain to work through, a lot of mistakes to acknowledge. But they're trying. Chief Thomas Cole resigned from his position as police chief. He couldn't continue serving after admitting what he'd tried to do. But he doesn't regret it. For the first time in years, he feels like an honest man. He volunteers at the Veterans Center now, too. On weekends, serving coffee, playing chess, listening. Father and son, side by side, learning what service really means. Judge Frank Caprio sits in his chambers. The afternoon sun streams through the window. On his desk is a photograph, a recent one. It shows Brandon Cole and Harold Mitchell standing together at the Veterans Center. They're both smiling. Harold's hand rests on Brandon's shoulder. Attached to the photograph is a handwritten note. "Your Honor, thank you for not giving up on me. Thank you for seeing what I could become instead of just what I was. I'm not the same person who walked into your courtroom, and I never will be again. Brandon Cole." Judge Caprio smiles. He places the photograph in a drawer with dozens of others just like it. Letters and pictures from people whose lives were changed in his courtroom. This is why he became a judge. Not for the power, not for the prestige. For moments like this. What happens when a police chief's son thinks he's above the law? He learns that nobody is. He learns that privilege is not a shield. He learns that money cannot buy character. And if he's lucky, if he's brave enough to face the mirror and see his own flaws, he learns to become the person he was always meant to be. That's what happened to Brandon Cole. Not because he was punished, because he was transformed. And that, more than any jail sentence or fine, is what true justice looks like. Like this video if you believe in the power of redemption. Subscribe if you want to see more stories of justice served and lives changed. Share this with someone who needs to hear that it's never too late to become a better person. And if you've ever witnessed someone powerful finally face consequences for their actions, drop a comment below. We'd love to hear your story. Because here's the truth about justice. It doesn't care how much money you have. It doesn't care who your father is. It doesn't care what car you drive or what clothes you wear. Justice only cares about one thing: the truth. And in Judge Caprio's courtroom, the truth always wins. Justice served, lessons learned, lives transformed. Stay tuned for our next video, where a woman walks into court claiming she didn't know the speed limit, but what the judge discovers about her changes everything. You won't believe what happens next.